Mistakes are a normal part of human existence. It's not so much about the mistake you've made, but your response to the mistake that you've made. There are some times where you become overly conscious of, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. And you realize that it is at those points that you make even more mistakes. That's why we're having this conversation today, and it's titled Demystifying Mistakes. Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tolu Akinyemi. It's a privilege to be in your space again this week. If this is your first time, welcome. On this channel, I share thoughts that could help to inspire women, change their perception about themselves, and be everything that God has called them to be, which is whole. And if this is not your first time, you're returning again, thank you for stopping by again. Thank you so much for the privilege to get your attention. Thank you. So we're talking about demystifying mistakes today. You know, take it from someone who has made lots of mistakes at work, lots of mistakes in my personal life, and I used to be someone who would just sit down, feel so bad, freeze when I make mistakes. You almost think as if I've done something wrong, like, you know, I've not killed anybody, but I've made a mistake. So that's why we're having this conversation, demystifying mistakes. What is your response to mistakes? When you do something wrong, what's your response? According to the dictionary, if you just check, when you search for mistakes, it just talks about a judgment gone wrong, miscalculation, misinterpretation, something not done correctly, an oversight. That's mistake. It's a miss and take. You just do something wrongly. And the truth is, we all make mistakes. There is no a lot of times we think some people are so high up there, so perfect, they have no flaws, they do everything so thoroughly and all of that. But that's not, there's nothing further from the truth. We have people who have sort of helped themselves, identified and understood who they are, and they've been able to help themselves such that they can manage their weaknesses. Take, for instance, the story of Moses in the Bible. When God called him, he told God that I'm a stutterer. I stammer. There's no place in the Bible that was recorded that God healed him of stuttering. So that means all through his life, he still stammered. God gave him Aaron to help him, yes, but he was still the leader in the face of people. Do you want to tell me that Moses had to be mute all through while Aaron did all the talking? That's not true. He must have learned to just manage and live with that situation that he had in him. And every one of us has a weakness. We have something, and you will know it. For some people, it's temper. For some people, it's lust. For some people, not being able to communicate. We all have different things that we deal with, snubbing people. We all have different things that we deal with. You would know what it is. For some people, they talk too much, they talk too much. For some people, they can't really communicate. For some other people, at the slightest thing, they flare up so much. But once they are done breaking all the tables, they are calm, everything is done. That is also a character flaw. That is also a weakness. We all have these things, and from time to time, we make mistakes. So for people who you think don't have mistakes or it's not visibly obvious, they probably have tried to do some work on themselves to be able to refine themselves. But please, I don't want you to live with this illusion of perfection, like you put yourself on a very high pedestal and you cannot make a mistake. You will make mistakes. As long as you're even trying, you're making efforts, you're doing something, you will make mistakes. And I want you to get to a point where you're comfortable with making a mistake, because mistakes, they show you how not to do things again. Like, oh, I made this mistake. Mistakes keep you humble. Imagine if you ticked all the dots. Family life, check. Work life, check. Career, check. Everything, check. Dress sense, check. Everything, check. Don't you think that some level of pride will come in? But there's that humanness, that humanity, that human part of us that still is subject to making mistakes, and it sort of keeps us humble. It keeps us in check. It keeps us humble. So humble, instead of being overly conscious of mistakes, because when you're too conscious, I don't want to make mistakes, that is when you even make more mistakes, because you are not relaxed to make informed decisions with the knowledge that you have. So it's important that you get comfortable with making mistakes. When you make mistakes, there's no point beating yourself up. There's no point living in regret, because it won't change anything. The mistake has been made already. How do you move forward? That's the question you ask yourself. How do I move forward after making mistakes? Because I said earlier, it shows you how not to do things again. You can ask yourself, what could I have done better? Because you want a different outcome. It's foolishness, like you've heard us saying several times, I'm sure. It's foolishness to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. So if you've gotten an outcome that is not what you desire, that is feedback. And you can ask yourself, what's the outcome that I desire? What could I have done better to be able to achieve or get this outcome? So it's more about your response to the mistake that you've made. If you're going to respond correctly, then you sit down and say, okay, what have I done wrong? What can I do better next time? Because it shows you what you shouldn't do. It shows you what you shouldn't do again. Don't be stuck with that illusion of perfection that you now freeze and allow yourself you don't allow yourself to explore things, to delve into things. As you grow, as you embrace a growth mindset, as you keep going forward, you start seeing that your level of competence also increases. But it doesn't mean at some point you will still not make a mistake, because you will. And lastly, I would say, don't live in ignorance. Because a lot of times we make decisions based on the knowledge that we have at that time, and most times you feel, when you make a decision, because of knowledge you have, that's the best decision you could make at that time. So don't stay at a point where you're just ignorant of things. For whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever phase of life that you are, get knowledge so you can make even more informed decisions, and the chances of making mistakes over and over again reduces. So you don't keep making the same mistakes, and as you make this mistake, you learn what you can do, because your experiences, there are things that you use to help others to thrive as well. And I hope that this helps you not to glorify mistakes or see it as something forbidden because you will make mistakes. I can't guarantee that after listening to this, you'll still not make a mistake this week or even tomorrow. So please don't glorify mistakes. Identify it, embrace it when you've made it, own it when you've made a mistake. You made that mistake because of the knowledge you had at that time. Own that mistake that you've made, and then ask yourself, what can I do better, and work on it. Don't forget to embrace that growth mindset, because it will help you a lot. Thank you for staying till the end today. Till I see you next time. Bye for now.